Kyrie Irving is back for the Dallas Mavericks as they look to split the series with the Denver Nuggets tonight at the American Airlines Center. We'll preview tonight's game coming up next on the DLLS Mavs pregame show. Here we go. Hey, what's up, DLLS Mavs Nation? It's your man, Kevin Gray, alongside Mavericks analyst Bobby Carella. We are DLLS Mavs, your favorite guys coming your favorite team every single game night at Kevin Gray Sports, at Bobby Carella. If you want to get at us on X, we'll be joined by our Mavericks beat writer, Tim Cato, coming up in our next segment live from the American Airlines Center. It's game night for your Dallas Mavericks, and Kyrie Irving is back for the Mavericks tonight as they take on Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets. Game number 40 of the season for your Mavericks tonight with tip-off at 8:30 p.m. at the AAC. We'll get you ready for tonight's game over the course of the next half hour. Really appreciate you joining us here on DLLS Sports. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe while you are here, as well as Bobby Carella, the Dallas Mavericks at 22-17, 12-7 so far at the AAC. Take on a Nuggets team that's 23-15. 11-8 so far away from Ball Arena in Denver. Nuggets now a 2.5-point favorite with the news and the return of one Kyrie Irving tonight. An exciting night for Mavericks fans to welcome back one half of their dynamic duo, this time in Kyrie Irving.
Kevin, Zahid Abbas once said, "Difficult times have helped me to understand better than before how infinitely rich and beautiful life is in every way, and that so many things that one goes worrying about are of no importance whatsoever." In other words,
deep way to start the show.
We just survived about 2 weeks without Luka and Kyrie, and it appears we have made it through the desert. We've arrived at the oasis. I have a sweet, sweet cup of water here next to me, and I'm about to get to watch Kyrie Irving play basketball. And my God, I am so excited.
Kyrie Irving, of course, one of the more fantastic finishers in the history of the game, gets to come back tonight after missing the last 4 games with a back injury. We'll get into what his return means here in just a moment. Jason Kidd speaking to that a little bit during practice yesterday. But Bobby, a team in Dallas, of course, is 5th in the Western Conference, a game and a half behind their opponent tonight, the Denver Nuggets, for the 4th seed in the Western Conference. The Mavericks 12-14 so far this season against teams above 500. Have won 2 of their last 3 games after what was a 5-game losing streak. They're 2-1 on their current 4-game homestand, with that homestand coming to a close tonight. The Mavericks are on the first night of a home road back-to-back. They'll be on the road tomorrow night against the New Orleans Pelicans as they'll play that game in New Orleans. The Mavericks, of course, 5-2 this season on the first night of a back-to-back, and they'll play 3 of their next 5 games on the road. Meanwhile, for the Denver Nuggets, 4th in the West, a game back of the Memphis Grizzlies for the 3rd seed in the Western Conference. Denver themselves, of course, has won 3 straight games in 4 of their last 5. Overall, they're 7-3 in their last 10 games, 14-12 against teams above 500 so far this year. And they are in a stretch right now, Bobby, where they're playing 9 of 12 games on the road away from Ball Arena. So they're going to be spending quite a bit of time on the road themselves. They're on the first night of a road home back-to-back are the Nuggets. They'll be in, of course, in Dallas tonight. Then they'll be back home tomorrow night when they take on the Houston Rockets. So both teams on the first night of a back-to-back, which gets us to your scouting report on this evening after the Mavericks, of course, unfortunately blew what was a 19-point lead on Sunday, looking to run it back and get some revenge tonight against the Nuggets. One of the things they'll have to do tonight is be a little bit more physical with Jamal Murray of the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah, you have to get up in his space. Murray is not a very quick player. You know, he kind of moves at the pace of somebody that's more like Dinwiddie and less like Jaden Hardy. The Mavs kept on just backing off of him, whether that was a big or a guard even, just giving him space, and he wants to get to that step back 3. He wants to get into that little pull-up 18, 20-foot jump shot. He made a couple floaters. There was a very unfortunate foul in the fourth quarter of that game when Maxey was backing off of Murray as he was sort of feigning like he was going to drive, and then he did a pump fake and Maxey bit, and it was an and one, and it was just a backbreaker. Just get up on him. I tune into the DNVR Nuggets show all the time at DNVR Sports, one of our sister networks within the ALLCITY network, and they just bemoan all the time. At any time Murray goes up against teams that want to play physically, he struggles. And Murray did pretty much nothing when Quentin Grimes was the guy that was guarding him. So if you were on Murray tonight, get in his space, crowd him, make him put the ball on the floor, see if you can get him sloppy with the handle, see if you can remove him from being a threat to score. Next, pick up Russell Westbrook in transition. My God, dude. The number of times that he came away with a rebound or a steal or an inbounds pass or whatever and was just waltzing up the floor and no one was stopping the ball until he was within the three-point line already. Like, that can't be the case. Pick him up at midcourt. Pick him up beyond midcourt. Someone just pick him up in general. Someone be like, I am going to do this. Like, there was a time in the fourth quarter, it was the play when Gafford got blocked twice in a row right at the rim, and then he fell down. It was a really physical play. Could have been a whistle. There wasn't. Russ comes away with the ball. PJ picks up the ball whenever Russ is already below the free throw line. Yeah. Like, it's just unacceptable. You have to stop the ball earlier. And then finally, the bigs just too often were kind of hanging out in the dunker spot as the Mavs started going away from the dribble handoff stuff. And that just meant Jokic just got to hang out by the rim, which meant that whenever Dinwiddie or one of the guards were able to break their man down, they were able to get in the lane. But Jokic was just right there waiting for them. Part of what you want to do against Jokic is make him work on defense, wear him out, make him cover space, make him cover ground, because he's not very quick. He's a very competitive guy, but he doesn't always display that want to protect the rim. And so if you can test him over and over again, you will eventually succeed a lot. So I want to see more Gafford and Lively hanging out of the high post, that elbow, free throw line extended area where they can either do some dribble handoffs or at least just open up a bit more space for the Mavs guards if they're able to break down their man on the perimeter.
Ronald, I see you in the chat agreeing with Bobby's point. Yes, please stop Westbrook in transition. The Denver Nuggets, the number one team in the NBA this year in fast break points. To Bobby's point, you got to be able to keep them out of transition. Otherwise, they will make you pay going up the other end of the floor. Let's get to our lead story tonight for your Dallas Mavericks, and we start with the return of Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is back for the Dallas Mavericks after missing the last 4 games with a back injury. He will lead this offense tonight. Kyrie Irving averaging over 24 points per game and nearly 5 assists per contest, playing nearly 36 minutes a night. His presence on the floor taking a lot of pressure off guys like Spencer Dinwiddie and Jaden Hardy and others, and more than anything, going to be leading the charge offensively, calming things down on that end of the floor. Jason Kidd speaking yesterday in practice about the return of Kyrie Irving and what the Mavericks have missed in the last 4 games without Kai's services on the floor. Here's what Jason Kidd had to say.
Yeah, you look at the quarterback aspect, you look at the leadership, you look at his ability to score, and just his presence, his gravity, a lot of times denials or 2 on the ball while he has it. So we definitely missed that, and hopefully we get that back soon.
And they do get him back tonight, Bobby. What are you expecting from Kyrie Irving in making his return to the lineup to be able to help the Mavericks, especially offensively, be able to calm things down with the way that he's able to run this team here?
Yeah, just professional playmaker. He's quick. He can get past his guy. The Nuggets have some personnel to defend wings, Porter, Gordon, Peyton Watson. None of those guys really wants to defend Kyrie, so it's got to be like maybe Christian Brown, but he's one of their worst shooters in their rotation. As they go into their bench, it's going to be like Julian Strother. Kyrie can cook that dude. I don't expect Jamal Murray or even Russ to be able to hang with Kyrie at all, and so I think he's going to put a lot of pressure on the Nuggets defense where, especially in the second half, the Mavs guards just weren't able to do that. We bemoaned a lot of what was going on in the fourth quarter, but to put some numbers to it, the Mavs played 7 offensive possessions in the fourth quarter on Sunday when nothing happened. They did not get into at least the first action of the possession until there was 14 seconds or less remaining on the shot clock. So it took them more than 10 seconds to do something 7 times. Total in those 7 possessions, they scored 2 points. So they scored 1 bucket 1 time, and then they had 6 empty possessions. Oftentimes it was turnovers or really lousy shots where a guy's off balance and ends up out of bounds, and then it's transitioned the other way. And that's what really killed the Mavs. It wasn't their half-court defense. It was the number of full-court opportunities they had, and then their offense just drying up in the fourth. And so if nothing else, Kyrie is going to be able to get good looks pretty much whenever he wants, whether that's for him or for somebody else. And if he gets it going early, they're going to start double teaming him, which means it's going to make it even easier on other guys. They have not had that kind of presence in the lineup in a long time, and clearly it's shown.
Shout out to Luke. He must be paying attention on social media. Kyrie on a 30 to 33 minutes restriction tonight. Of course, the Mavericks on the first night of a back-to-back. I'm sure Jason Kidd will want to ensure that hopefully with the play that Kyrie will give them to be able to not only get out to a lead, but hopefully be able to win tonight's game, especially with him on the floor. Let's take a look at the other side of things when it comes to the Denver Nuggets, of course, led by MVP candidate Nikola Jokic so far this year, averaging over 31 points per game. That's third in the league, over 13 rebounds per game. That's also third in the NBA. And, oh, by the way, averaging 9.8 assists per contest. That's second in the league and might be doing it a little bit better on the defensive end these days, too. Top 5 in the NBA. In fact, number 4 in the NBA in steals at 1.8 steals per contest. And, oh, by the way, he's the number 1 3-point percentage shooter in the league, shooting over 47% from the three-point line so far this year. In other words, he's really good. He's really good, and we know how good he plays.
Best in the world.
In the game against the Mavericks on Sunday, going for 19 points, 18 rebounds, and 9 assists.
Other than Giannis.
In that game, Giannis, SGA, and Jokic probably right now are your 3 best players in the league. When Luka's not obviously playing, that is, for sure. Russell Westbrook, though, in his last 10 games, has been playing really well as well, averaging 16 points per game, nearly 8 rebounds per contest, and over 8 assists per game, while shooting 54% from the field. Russell Westbrook been giving the Denver Nuggets some really good minutes as of late. Meanwhile, for your Dallas Mavericks defensively, they're going to be led by Derek Lively II, who's been playing really well as of late himself, averaging 9.3 points per game, 8.1 rebounds, and nearly 2 blocks per game at 1.7, which is good for 6th in the NBA so far this year. Offensively, we know that Kyrie Irving is back. He's going to get some help from P.J. Washington, who's averaging over 13 points per game and nearly 8 rebounds per contest while shooting 38% from the three-point line. Klay Thompson, who had his second 25-plus point game on Sunday with the 25 points that he has, shooting nearly 39% from 3 so far this year, averaging 14 points per game. Offensively, Bobby, we know that the Nuggets are an absolute juggernaut this year. When you start going up and down the numbers for them, number 3 in points per game, number 2 in field goal percentage, number 4 in three-point percentage, and also number 6 in rebounding as well. And by the way, they're number 1 in assists. They're the only team so far this year that's averaging over 30 assists per contest in the league at 31.2 per game. This is a team that loves to share the basketball and could do it extremely well. You got to be able to try to create some deflections on the defensive end if you're the Mavericks, to disrupt some of that offensive rhythm to give yourself a chance in a game like this.
Yeah, I don't know if you even need to try and jump passing lanes or anything. I think it's more just you have to be smart with your eyes, because if you're guarding the guy in the weak side corner, as soon as Jokic sees you looking over at him, his dude is going to cut, and it's going to be a dunk for Christian Brown.
Yeah.
Or you let Russell Westbrook cut through to go maybe double Jokic or put some more pressure on him. Well, now Russ has a dunk. Mm-hmm. You know, the Mavs got burned with those a few times. Aaron Gordon has obviously perfected the timing with Jokic, but they have cutters up and down the lineup that do that. You know, in the same way that the Mavs are starting to use Lively as a dribble handoff hub, where he's hitting Klay with some passes or hitting Kyrie, many times throughout the season so far. The Nuggets do that all the time. And so if you try and play the passing lane, then you're risking getting burned. If you try and stay home, you're risking Jokic cooking you. It's really a pick your poison kind of thing. But if you are going to take a chance, you just have to be smart about it, because Jokic is 7 feet tall. He sees everything. You're not tricking him. So if you are going to gamble, you better win.
That gives the Nuggets what is a number 4 offensive rating so far this year. The Mavericks are going to have to be on their P's and Q's, especially defensively tonight, in order to have a chance against the Denver Nuggets. The Mavericks and the Nuggets, of course, playing each other for the final time this season as the Nuggets lead the season series 2-1. We know what happened on Sunday, unfortunately, with the Mavericks blowing what was a 19-point lead, getting outscored 45-15 in the final 16 minutes and 50 seconds of the ball game, including 33-12 in the fourth quarter alone, as the Mavericks unfortunately blew that lead. Klay Thompson had 25 points on 6 made three-pointers. Jokic, as we mentioned, 19, 18, and 9 in the win for Denver. the Dallas Mavericks looking to contain not only him, Russell Westbrook, but also Aaron Gordon played extremely well. We'll get to him a little bit later in terms of our X factors for tonight's game. Coming up next here on the DLLS Mavs pregame show, we'll get into our X factors. We'll look at the injury report, and plus we'll welcome in our Mavericks beat writer Tim Cato live from the American Airlines Center to get you ready for tonight's game between the Mavericks and the Denver Nuggets. But before that, let's talk to you a little bit about Sleeper.
Yeah, KG, I'm on a 2-game losing streak right now, so I got to get back to basics here.
Yeah.
I got to get back to disparaging Nikola Jokic. I'm going to take Kyrie to score at least 20 points. He's, I think, set at 24.5. I don't like that. Just give me 20 points. Jokic, I'm going to take him for less than 51.5 points plus rebounds plus assists.
Well, you're playing with fire there.
I do. I don't think he's going to get 18 rebounds again. I hope he doesn't get 35 points like he's done a few times against the Mavs. And then lastly, I think Dinwiddie, assuming he's returning to a bench role, either way, he's going to be playing off ball a little more tonight, which I think suits his offensive game much better. I'm going to take him for more than 14.5 points plus assists. I think he's going to have a double-digit scoring game, so all he's got to do is hand out a few assists, which is very doable. I just hope that he delivers for me. Spencer Dinwiddie, I believe in you.
Make sure you check out Sleeper. Play $5 and get $55 off. Use code DLLS Mavs to do so. Make sure you check out Sleeper today. Let's welcome in our Mavericks beat writer. You can find him on X at Tim_Cato. He is, of course, Tim Cato. Tim, what's going on?
Hello, friends. How are you guys in the studio?
Swell.
Doing very well. We're hanging out with our DLLS Stars crew as well. They're watching the Stars take on the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight as well. So a busy night inside the DLLS studios. And Tim, a busy night at the American Airlines Center as the return of Kai is here. Kyrie Irving returning after 4 games with the back injury. What did Jason Kidd have to say pregame about Kyrie Irving's return tonight?
Jason Kidd said that he's back. Well, yeah, that's a good place to start. He said that it is a relief given it was a back injury. You know, the team certainly had a sense of dread, you know, and fortunately it was about the best case scenario. He's going to play about 30 to 33 minutes tonight, which is an awfully specific range. Not 1 minute more than 33. Realistically, yeah, he's going to be the 30 to 35 range, somewhere in there. They're not going to push him, you know, closer to 40 or anything like that. Not in his first game back. But yeah, he's also not coming back to a, you know, Aaron Gordon type role. He is, you know, going to play starters minutes. And he said, Jason Kidd said, as for tomorrow, we'll see. So I wouldn't have a lot of expectations or hopes that Kyrie is going to go tomorrow against New Orleans, especially given the nature of, you know, Dallas probably not even getting there until, you know, 2 a.m. in the morning, something like that, getting to the hotel by 3 a.m. But the good news is that he's back. That's obviously a relief given how long Dallas has had to survive, you know, first Luka and now him being absent.
That gets us to our injury report on tonight for the Denver Nuggets and the Dallas Mavericks. We'll start with the opposition in Denver. Jamal Murray, he is available. He's dealing with some right knee inflammation. Aaron Gordon continues to play well as he made his return against the Dallas Mavericks on Sunday. He had been dealing with the right calf strain, but he is available and good to go tonight for the Denver Nuggets. Meanwhile, Luka Doncic is out, of course, with the left calf strain. Kyrie Irving available and back after missing the last 4 games with his back injury. Dante Exum remains out, of course, with his right wrist injury, hopefully getting closer to a return for Dallas as we move through the month of January. That moves us to our Mavericks player spotlight on tonight, and we focus in on the big man, Derek Lively II. In his last 7 games, Lively averaging 27 minutes per game, 11 points, nearly 10 rebounds, and nearly 4 assists per contest as well, while also giving you over 2 blocks per game, coming off a career-high 8 assist performance on Sunday, where 5 of those 8 assists went to Klay Thompson. Derek Lively speaking at practice yesterday about the chemistry growing between him and Klay Thompson and what that means for this team going forward. Here's what he had to say.
Just building that relationship. You know, it's just figuring out his rhythm, figuring out, you know, which ways he likes to go, how he likes his feet set, and just trying to get him in spots where he can excel at. You know, finding myself just trying to find easy buckets for us on the floor is just what I'm trying to do. You know, I'm just happy he's getting more comfortable and he's just letting it fly.
What's the keys of big just in that VHO game?
Patience. A lot of it is just really, instead of going in there with a set decision, it's just going in there and just reacting what's going on. There's going to be a lot of times where the defense not going to be the same coverage, or they're not going to be in the same spots each play. So you just got to go out there and just react to what's being shown to you.
Tim, Derek Lively becoming a really good passer, and we've seen that grow throughout the course of his now season and a half with the Dallas Mavericks. And on Sunday, that was on full display with the chemistry that he and Klay Thompson, with some backdoors, some dribble handoffs, and some of the nice passing that we saw from him there.
Yeah, Jason Kidd was asked if it's realistic to think that at some point maybe he's even going to be a player who's getting triple doubles or something like that. Not yet. You know, that's still a ways off. But something Jason Kidd has said in the past is that the next stage, this was, you know, I think it was the last time that Jason Kidd talked about him shooting threes, but he said the next step really is him being able to face up and take players off the dribble from those high post situations. I don't think until, you know, Derek Lively is able to draw double teams, just, you know, whether it's off the dribble because he's beating his man and he's got help coming over, that's when you're really going to see the assist potentially explode, and him be able to really be not just a static playmaker, but a dynamic playmaker, somebody who is able to do it off the move. It'd be fantastic if that happened. You know, if he, you know, we keep referencing Jared Allen as the player he should model his game after. And maybe there is a little bit more Evan Mobley in him as well. I think that is absolutely an aspiration that he should shoot for. But in the meantime, you know, what he is able to do, you know, as a high post hub, you know, as just a smart passer, a guy who knows where everybody is on the court, because he is a guy who, you know, knows every play. He studies the playbook, you know, high basketball IQ. That's all really good stuff for Dallas to have, and obviously a weapon, a facet of their offense that won't and shouldn't, you know, go away just because Kyrie's back. Even when Luka's back, they should still really be looking to get the ball and Derek Lively in his hands, and they were, you know, to be fair, they were for much of the season.
Kidd isn't really afraid to experiment with stuff like that either. I mean, this is kind of ancient history at this point, if you can believe it or not. 10 years ago is when he took over as coach in Milwaukee, and his second season there is when is Giannis going to be a point guard conversation began. And sure enough, I mean, it kind of is what happened. Obviously, the Bucks have had some guards over the years. They got Dame, Drew Holiday, guys like that, but Giannis spent a lot of time on the ball, and that didn't happen until Kidd was there. Kidd kind of believed in him and sort of rolled with it. So if you prove you can do something, Kidd will empower you to do the thing. Obviously, he's not going to be popping three-pointers anytime soon, and he's not going to be bringing the ball up the floor anytime soon, but like 2 years from now, maybe, who knows, you know, but at the rate he's progressing, it's like, why not try it here soon? I think he has the skill set to pull off stuff like that for sure.
There was a moment, and I'm so disappointed we didn't get to see the outcome. But in the Denver game, he tracked down an offensive rebound to about the corner, and then spun on his man and was going to drive it. And because of, you know, he's got such big feet and such wide, you know, such a wide frame, he stepped out of bounds. But I really wanted to see just the outcome of that play, because we haven't seen Derek Lively, you know, try to actively dribble towards the rim, you know, as a driver very often in his career. I believe the last time was preseason.
I'm about to say,
it was a great moment, though.
Yeah, in transition, he got out there and went coast to coast on one, was able to finish in a preseason game. But it just speaks to the growth of his game, even in the first year and a half of his career, that there are different parts of Lively's game that continues to not only get better, but improve upon certain aspects as well, that helps this Mavericks offense continue to be that much better as well. And what he's doing on the defensive end is to be marveled as well. Top 10 in the NBA in blocks so far this year. We know what kind of impact defender he's becoming. Derek Lively playing extremely well, going to be asked to do quite a bit tonight as they take on the Denver Nuggets.
He did so well against Jokic too. Mm-hmm. He, like, for a guy that's given up like 70 pounds or something, like, he really, really does pretty well against Jokic. Yeah. Famous last words, but I think he's done well.
I think he'll be up to the challenge once again tonight, and they'll need him, especially as we get into our X Factors here on today's pregame show. On the offensive glass, the Denver Nuggets, unfortunately, on the offensive glass, had their way against the Dallas Mavericks. That's X Factor number one for me, keeping the Nuggets off of the offensive glass. Denver had 15 offensive rebounds that led to 27 second chance points. They were a plus 19 in that department. Overall, Tim, they out-rebounded the Mavericks 55-37 in Sunday's game. The Mavericks got to do a better job on the defensive glass tonight to eliminate those second chance opportunities.
Yeah, and Jason Kidd said that too. He said that as they really examined the film, what stood out was offensive rebounding and fast breaks. Granted, I'm pretty sure anybody, that's a pretty obvious thing to recognize from the film. It's not a surprise. We recognized it on the postgame show. And Jason Kidd wasn't saying otherwise. But it's not a huge revelation. But yes, that was the focus of the team. Across this break as they geared up for the second game of in 3 days against the Denver Nuggets. One thing to note that I maybe should have mentioned earlier or interrupted the injury report. Aaron Gordon's going to stick on this 15 to 18 minute range. He's not being expanded to starters minutes tonight, per Mike Malone in the pregame press conference. So there's at least that going for Dallas, that it's at least going to be the same personnel that they had, the same minute distribution. It doesn't make it any easier, but at least it's not getting harder. And the one thing Jason Kidd said, and I tried to ask him, not to reveal, but just is there tactical things you can change about, not being out rebounded to that extent, not allowing so many transition points. Transition, yes, I do think there's some more tactical stuff they can do. Offensive rebounding is just kind of about physicality and matchups and how the ball bounces, and that's what Jason said. He said that sometimes it's just about hitting people first. Like initiate that box out as soon as you can. Make sure that you're the one leveraging the opponent rather than the other way around. That is coaching. It's not tactics, but it is coaching. And so it is something Dallas focused on. And, that's the hope for Dallas, is that it's going to resonate and the team is going to, just be a little bit sharper on that end, as well as whatever adjustments, which I think are more tactical adjustments, they need to make sure that they have bodies back. To make sure they're not allowing fast break points every third possession or something like that.
I'm going to disagree with you. Boxing out is not coaching. That is just pure effort and want to and desire. And unfortunately, whether it was because of energy or just because of a lack of want to, the Mavs did not have that on display at all for much of that game. It didn't look like they wanted to go get a rebound. It looked like they wanted the ball to come to them. Can't do that. You can't do that.
We agree. Yeah, absolutely. It's obviously there's, to some extent, there's variance. To some extent, when you go up against a very big, good offensive rebounding team and you don't have Luka, who's a crucial part of your defensive rebounding
means
scheme,
you have to try harder. No excuse.
Yes, exactly agree with you.
The Maverick starters for tonight: Kyrie Irving, Najee Marshall, Klay Thompson, PJ Washington, Derek Lively going to be getting the start tonight for the Dallas Mavericks. Meanwhile, for the Denver Nuggets, shout out to Luke. Jamal Murray, Russell Westbrook, Christian Brown, Michael Porter Jr., and Nikola Jokic, your starting five for the opposition. Tim, you led me perfectly to our second X factor for tonight's game, and that is finding Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon was spectacular in his return after missing 9 games with a calf injury. He was 6 of 7 from the field with 13.6 rebounds, plus 23 in the 18 minutes that he played on Sunday against the Dallas Mavericks, whether it was knocking down timely shots from the three-point line, getting key rebounds, making plays. Aaron Gordon, Bobby, did a lot on Sunday to really affect the game in a positive way for Denver.
He was so good. He was knocking down 15-footers off the dribble.
Mm-hmm.
He had a turnaround off the glass. It was beautiful. A couple big, rebounds. I think he had a dunk on an inbound play, which is very demoralizing.
Yeah.
He was super good. You have to key in on him. Whoever's out there, find him, make him uncomfortable. Dude is nursing a bad calf. Maybe he can't change direction. See if he can. That's really it. I mean, same with Murray.
Yeah.
That's why you need to get up in his space. Malone was this close to benching him.
He did say that after the game.
That's how dire his physical health is.
Mm-hmm.
Make him freaking earn it, dude.
We will see if they can do so tonight. And, Tim, you'll appreciate our last X factor for tonight's game. The Mavericks have got to win the non-Jokic minutes. On Sunday, of course, the Mavericks lost the non-Jokic minutes by double digits on Sunday. They've got to be a plus when Jokic is not on the floor to give themselves a chance to split this still mini 2-game series with Denver tonight.
Yeah. I mean, Jason Kidd's the one out here saying he's the best player in the world. So when he's not on the court, you should play better basketball than when he is on the court. It's a pretty simple concept. So I agree.
Tim, as always, we appreciate you reporting, man. We'll talk to you post-game. Enjoy the game at the American Airlines Center. We'll talk to you on the DLLS Mavs post-game show.
See you soon.
Have a good game, Tim.
That is our Mavericks beat writer, Tim Cato, live from the American Airlines Center. You can find him on X at Tim_Cato. It is game time for your Dallas Mavericks.
Game time?
8:30 p.m. tip-off at the AAC. You can watch the game on TNT or on WFAA Channel 8 as well for Mavericks television. JJ Barea going to be on the call. You're going to be watching the local broadcast on television tonight as well. We'll be back 15 minutes after the game is over with tonight here on the DLLS Mavs postgame show. We'll be joined by our national NBA insider, Mark Stein, who will be live from the arena as well as our Mavericks beat writer, Tim Cato. That is our Mavericks analyst, Bobby Carella. I'm your host, Kevin Gray. We'll talk to you 15 minutes after the game between the Mavericks and the Denver Nuggets. We'll talk to you later on DLLS Sports. Y'all be good. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.